When we think of leadership, it's easy to picture someone delivering rousing speeches or issuing commands from a position of authority. But true leadership, real effective leadership, begins somewhere entirely different, inside oneself. Imam Ali, in his profound work, Nahj al-Balagha, speaks to this fundamental truth. He says, "Whoever appoints himself as a leader of the people should begin by teaching himself before teaching others." And this idea, it's not just a philosophical notion, it's a blueprint for self-discipline and personal accountability, the cornerstones of any lasting authority. Think about it. How can a person guide others without first navigating their own path? Imam Ali emphasizes that leaders must discipline themselves through their actions, not merely through their words. He states, their disciplining of others must be through their conduct, rather than their speech. It's really powerful, isn't it? Because what this wisdom highlights is the undeniable weight of example. Words can inspire, but actions lead. A leader's behavior speaks louder and resonates deeper than any spoken advice ever could. And essentially it comes down to this. Those who have struggled and succeeded in bettering themselves are far more deserving of respect and admiration than those who focus solely on guiding others while neglecting their own growth. It's as if Imam Ali is urging us to look inward first, to refine ourselves before trying to refine the world around us. This essence of leadership, this call to personal accountability, is just as relevant now as it was then. It challenges us, as individuals, to think about where we stand, to ask ourselves, are we leading by example, or are we merely leading in words? And this brings us to a fascinating point about those who truly embody this principle. Real-life leadership, the kind that actually leaves a mark, often stems from individuals whose actions speak far louder than their words. Albert Schweitzer once said, "Example is not the main thing in influencing others, it is the only thing." And when you think about it, it's absolutely true. Look at figures like Mahatma Gandhi. He was a man who didn't just talk about non-violence, he lived it with every fibre of his being. Years and years of personal discipline, fasting, and relentless commitment to his principles are what made him such an enduring symbol of peaceful resistance. It wasn't just his words that mobilised millions, it was his authenticity, his consistency. But leading by example isn't easy, is it? I mean, really, it's tough. Take any public figure, any CEO or community leader, and you'll notice how often they're scrutinised for any slip-up. It's hard to consistently align your actions with the values you preach, especially under that kind of constant pressure. I remember back in the earlier years of my career, juggling the responsibilities of producing live broadcasts and managing a team. There were times I'd barely have a moment to breathe, but I had to keep everything smooth, polished, composed. And it taught me something invaluable, the importance of practicing what you preach, even when no one's watching. To stay disciplined when it's just you versus you. Because here's the thing, leaders don't need to be perfect, but they need to be trying, genuinely trying, to live by the principles they espouse. It's that effort and transparency in their shortcomings that end up inspiring others to follow suit. Imagine if a manager constantly preached about punctuality but was always late themselves. They'd lose credibility in a heartbeat. Leading by example means embodying those ideas, living them so authentically that people see and feel the weight of your commitment. It's in making those quiet, everyday choices that your leadership truly begins to shine. So often it's not the loudest voices or the loftiest speeches that leave the deepest impressions. It's the quiet, consistent actions of those who lead by example. A leader's true influence doesn't come from what they say, but from who they are, day in and day out. Their behaviour becomes a silent but powerful message to those around them. Think about someone you admire, a mentor, a coach, maybe a parent or a teacher. What made their impact on you so lasting? Chances are it wasn't just their words, it was their ability to live out the very values they taught, to hold themselves to the same standards they expected from others. In many ways, their actions became a mirror, reflecting the kind of integrity and discipline worth aspiring to. Leadership at its core really is about authenticity. It's about earning respect, not demanding it, through a genuine commitment to growth and fairness. And how do you cultivate that kind of respect? By practicing self-reflection, by showing up consistently, and by being honest about your own imperfections. People don't expect leaders to be flawless. They expect them to be relatable, to be accountable. And it's not just about individual growth either. When a leader commits to bettering themselves, it inspires everyone around them to do the same. It creates this ripple effect. A team, a community, even a movement, all shaped by one person's commitment to living their values. It's why leaders who walk the talk truly have the potential to transform not just their immediate circles, but the broader world. So as we wrap up today's conversation, I want to leave you with this thought. Great leadership isn't about being in the spotlight. It's about the quiet strength it takes to live out your principles, even when no one's watching. It's about realizing that your actions, no matter how small, contribute to a greater whole. Because in the end, a role model is someone who inspires others just by being true to themselves. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the wisdom of Nahj al-Balagha. Until next time, take care. And remember, leadership begins within.